participants were able to live with what was contained in the outcome document. They considered it was good enough, maybe not perfect, but good enough, and good enough can be good enough. It was noteworthy that only 3 governments dissociated themselves from the outcome, mainly because they disagreed with the unusual procedure for them, and also because their own proposals were not reflected in the outcome document. There is unfinished business from the Net Mondial that is waiting to be taken up by the IGF meeting in Istanbul. These issues range from multi-stakeholder cooperation, definition of the exact roles, and especially the roles of governments. But governments find it difficult to find a role in the internet ecosystem along all the other stakeholders, to the role of internet intermediaries. That was also discussed this morning's panels, what role intermediaries have when it comes to privacy, for instance, to permissionless innovation, and maybe above all on how to deal with net neutrality. Net neutrality was the most contentious issue in Sao Paulo. It is at the same time a very complex technical issue and also a very emotional issue. Net Mondial framed the debate by providing some guidelines, and I quote from the Sao Paulo statement: to continue the discussion of the open internet, including how to enable freedom of expression, competition, consumer choice, meaningful transparency, and appropriate network management. It is unlikely that the IGF Istanbul meeting will be able to provide a consensus, however rough, on this hotly debated issue. But it can provide a venue for an issue-centered debate that will move us towards a common understanding of what we mean with this abstract term. This would already be a great step forward. Now we have already talked about mass surveillance, and we at the Internet Society, we also thought that this had broken the chain of trust, which is essential for the functioning of the Internet. This realization last year created a sense of urgency to review the current Internet governance arrangements and to rebuild Internet users' trust in the Internet, its function and how it fits into society. And the Net Mondial was the first attempt in that move towards creating and rebuilding trust. This was also the underlying theme at the 2013 IGF meeting, and then there was a general agreement that the IGF was the privileged place to pursue these discussions, and that a multi-stakeholder format was the only way forward. The IGF has proved its worth as a go-to place where the community gathers to share experiences and exchange information. The IGF is well placed to build on the output from Net Mondial and to discuss how best to move forward to rebuild online trust. Given the current challenges and given the necessity to restore trust and confidence in the Internet, it is absolutely essential to involve all stakeholders, from developed as well as developing countries, in discussions on the future evolution of the Internet. The IGF is best placed to take these discussions forward. It provides protection, legitimacy and credibility to the multi-stakeholder model, since it is the only truly open and inclusive multi-stakeholder platform under the UN umbrella. The 2014 IGF Istanbul meeting should therefore be the starting point for such an evolution. It can take the discussion from the Net Mondial forward on the long path towards creating a new chain of trust for the Internet and finding a new international consensus on multi-stakeholder Internet governance. There are, of course, other institutions, other organizations that will discuss the same issues, and a future solution will not emerge from one single meeting. It will come from many different meetings, and I think this meeting here, this INET, provides a useful platform and a useful bridge to take the discussions forward. With that, I conclude. I'm happy to answer a few questions, but I have to apologize. I will have to jump off at 1:45 to attend another virtual meeting. There is one gentleman there. Yes, David?
Markus, what reasons would you give that the governments...
Thank you, Markus. What reasons would you give that the governments at Mundial were cooperative in that sense, a part of the stakeholder group? Would you care to share your impressions?
My guess is that the government of Brazil had invited and had managed to associate a number of governments that were co-organizers or co-hosts, and that created a momentum that they were actually willing to play the game. And I was personally surprised. I was asked to chair one of the groups, and at one point I had so many people queuing up, which is also very unusual that governments queue up behind a microphone. They are used to sit comfortably in their seats where the nameplate is in front of them, but no, we made them queue up. And we gave them 2-minute slots, and at one point we saw there were just too many people in the queue. So we said, okay, we give you 30 seconds, you can give us a tweet in 30 seconds, and again, they played the game. So this was, I think, in itself remarkable. The governments actually adapted to the methodology of the internet community. I mean, the internet community is used to this kind of meeting, of queuing up behind the microphone, having an open mic session. But here, for me, that was the first time to see that, and that, I think, is encouraging. The exact reason why they played the game, but there were a few governments at the end who dissociated themselves, but I think it was the effort and the prestige of the government of Brazil. And again, they had a strong partner in Germany. We talked about the Chancellor's telephone. That was one of the reasons why the Germans were keen to have this meeting, and very much also the President of Brazil felt